I'm Dave D, and you're watching XP Team USA.
Keeps me from smoking and drinking all the beers. And when I found my first coin, I could hardly believe my luck. Was a big gold penny just lying in the muck. Hey, you can't dig here, you can't dig there, that's what I heard him say. You're gonna have to leave now and don't come back this way. I was looking for some old coins, but I didn't have much luck. He said it was a lame excuse and he didn't give a fuck. So heading on for Mayo and the farmer far behind. A new set of batteries and coins on me mind. And when I started digging, I knew there's coins galore. But then, out of nowhere, I heard this mighty roar. Hey, you can't dig here, you can't dig there, that's what I heard him say. You're gonna have to leave now and don't come back this way. I was looking for some old coins, but I didn't have much luck. He said it was a lame excuse and he didn't give a fuck. So later on that evening, I found myself new ground. I went and asked the farmer, and by God he was sound. I turned up my first silver, and it was 11.34, and I didn't have to worry about the farmer's roar. Hey, you can't dig here, you can't dig there, that's what I heard him say. You're gonna have to leave now and don't come back this way. I was looking for some old coins, but I didn't have much luck. He said it was a lame excuse and he didn't give a fuck.
Many spend their days passively searching for something interesting to do. Others dig in and find it. While nothing is certain, anything is possible. And the anticipation leads you into action. Because it's here that adventures begin. Stories are unearthed. Secrets are revealed. Fortunes are found. Mysteries are solved. And the past is brought to life. Nothing valued is ever lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. What are you looking for?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday, it's 8 p.m, and it's the Big Detecting Show. Good evening, Adrian. How are you all?
I'm fine, thanks, Dave. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm good. You?
I'm all right. Actually, somebody's caused me to have this really, really bad want and a need for apple strudel, which hasn't been taken care of yet. And I've no idea who it is at all, in any way, shape, or form.
You should have had a barbecue, like I did the other night.
Yeah, you did. And
It's only 1 degree, but
I've had to move a set of drawers to get to the water valvey thing for the. We had a new boiler fitted, and my earphones are about that long now because I haven't put everything back right. So I'm stuck. So I'm over here tonight. Yes, I'm okay. It's been a very, very, very memorable week. We started off, Adrian, as you know, and some of the readers will also know, we actually started a petition last week, petitioning the departments for digital culture, media and sport to allow the same rules as shooting and fishing in the UK for metal detecting. Well, in England, because there is a certain manner of it doing in other areas. But, yeah, it went great. We had 2,250 people sign a petition, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you for that. Unfortunately, 38 Degrees had been contacted by another entity about the petition, and it was removed. And the grounds that they give it for being removed were appalling, which I made public, and sadly, the petition is no more. So it shows that 2,250 people at least did want to show their worth, show their opinion, and be heard. And I think following on from that, we also published a post where people could actually get the details through the DCMS for the Sporting Alliance and be able to find a way to contact your own MP, which was put together on the website by Tony Kaywood. So sadly, that's the only means of that actually occurring at the moment, is to go out yourself, put a letter together. Tom Trussell this morning sent me the letter that he was going to be sending over. And, hey, that's where we are currently. So that's unfortunate because it did have a lot of backing, not from the some of the sources, some of the people that should be backing it, but even so. Anyway, Adrian, shall we go to the news?
Yes, go on, David.
Marvellous. Well, I'm going to go first and foremost to news with audio, because our good friend, Mr. Aaron Weedle, has himself, let me just pause that, see if it's right. Can you see that yet?
No.
Yes. Yes, right. So this is our good friend, Aaron Weedle, who's put together his first news broadcast. So we'll go with this to start with.
Hello all, Aaron here, bringing you a selection of random news stories. Some of them are to do with metal detecting, some of them are archaeology, and some of them are just plain random. Sit back and enjoy. We'll start today's show off with a story about a horse mounting block that is a 2,000-year-old Roman relic. Auctioneers went to track down the builders of a house where a 2,000-year-old Roman relic was found. The Roman slab dates from the 2nd century AD but has been used as a horse mounting block for 10 years before the owner realized its significance. The Salisbury firm Woolley & Wallace are appealing to the public to help them work out how it arrived in a Wiltshire garden. Antique specialist Will Hobbs said it was a complete mystery. The marble slab was first unearthed from the rockery of the garden of a bungalow in White Parish near Salisbury 20 years ago, and then used in the owner's stable. One day the owner noticed a laurel wreath carved into its surface. An archaeologist then identified it as dating to the 2nd century AD, with possible origins to Greece or Asia Minor. Could the Detectorists TV show be returning? Well, according to an article in the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, yes it could. Detectorists could be set for a return after creator Mackenzie Crook gave the biggest indication yet that he wants to bring back the BBC comedy. The writer, director and star of the metal-detecting sitcom, which last aired after 3 series in 2017, has previously hinted that he was open to the idea of revisiting the cult show. Co-starring Toby Jones, Rachel Sterling, Lucy Benjamin and the late Diana Rigg, it revolves around the lives of detectorists in northern Essex. Appearing on Zoe Ball's Radio 2 breakfast show to promote the Christmas Eve return of his BBC One Wurzel Gummidge adaptation, he confirmed that it's true. I'm kind of thinking of it, but I don't have any ideas at the moment. And now to a story of Ash Jacko Jackson of the Southern Searcher on YouTube. Now, on New Year's Day, Ash was out detecting in his local beach in Cornwall when, unbeknown to him, he dug up a live World War II Mills hand grenade. He continued to hit the lump of crust with his spade. The lump then split in half, and so did the live grenade inside. He then realised what he'd found and immediately called the police, who arrived shortly after, followed by the Coast Guard, and then an hour later, the EOD bomb disposal. The bomb disposal expert told Ash it was too unstable to remove, and if he had hit it an inch to the left, it would have detonated. They then gave Ash the amazing opportunity to call out the countdown and press the button to detonate the bomb. Ash describes the day as terrifying yet exciting, also something he hopes to never repeat. And if you'd like to know more about Ash, just search for The Southern Searcher on YouTube. And finally, a woman has called the police after spotting a human toe sticking out of the ground. Whilst out walking her dog, Katie Wilkinson spotted something rather odd-looking in a muddy field. The 26-year-old from Winlayton, Gateshead, came across what she believed was a human toe sticking out of the ground. She was walking a different route than usual and was keeping a close eye on the wet mud so as not to slip over when she noticed something striking in the dirt. She decided to get a closer look and snapped a photo to show others to see what they thought it was. After making a call and getting the police involved, a detective agreed that it looked like a toe, but after hours of searching and no results, sniffer dogs were brought in and they soon discovered it wasn't a human body part after all. It was a potato. Well, that's all from me this week. If you've got any news stories you'd like me to know about, then head on over to the South Coast Detecting Facebook page and drop a link in there. And hopefully, if I make any more of these, I'll see you next time. Cheers. Ta-da.
Marvellous. Thank you, Aaron.
That was very well done, Aaron.
Do you know what? I said to him when he sent it me over to have a look, I said, Aaron, with all due respect, that's definite radio news reader's voice, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think also the stories. I was trying to think which was my favourite one. It would probably be the toe.
It's got to be the potato.
But again, the grenade, that's something that many of us can come across easily.
Absolutely,
yeah. But yeah, it's really good. So thanks, Aaron. That was excellent.
Now, I'm not going to read through the rest because I'd like to speak to our guest more. But if you go onto the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine website, archmdmag.com, you'll also find the weekly news roundup on there for this week, where police have found people with Class A drugs, metal detectorists who were night hawking. A guy in Scotland has found a Napoleonic coin. Thousands of medieval coins unearthed in Hungary. Somebody has been arrested in digging in Yellowstone Cemetery in America. A gold seal belonging to Henry III. And then there's also an article on there about night hawking that Chester Archaeological Society have brought up about the scheduled monument at Heron Bridge in Chester. So you can read all them on there anyway. So, but thank you anyway. I think you should all give Aaron some big ups so he continues making them. So he's given us permission to use them on the show, and that's a great addition. And it's as I say, it's a brilliant little concept for Aaron to be doing as well, isn't it?
Very, very good. With regards to all those news stories you were talking about, Dave, is there an app for the Archaeology?
Do you know, Adrian? There is an app. There's now 2 apps. There's the Google app, and today came the Apple app. All free, all the news straight to you. So there you go. We have an app, and Adrian, are you back?
Yeah, was that me? Did I go?
Yeah, you went like that. Anyway, without further ado, let's bring our guest in because I'm desperate to speak to him. Ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce you to Chris Kutler, who is from Archi UK. You'll probably all know Archi UK, but you don't know the person behind it. And here he is. Good evening, Chris.
How you doing? How are you? All right.
Hi, Chris.
Absolutely marvellous to speak to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I didn't know people actually were so into the site that much. Really. It's a mystery to me. It's a mystery.
Honestly, mate, it's without a doubt the most valuable research tool I think that's available, and it's an honour speaking to you for somebody who's actually constructed something so big.
Well, you've not seen the code behind it. The code is a nightmare. But I realised about a year ago somebody introduced me as he goes, meet Chris. He runs Archi UK. He single-handedly is pillaging the UK's heritage as a joke. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So what can I say? So that's not so. It's nice to speak to you from a positive angle, but there is that kind of thing where some people are a bit kind of, what can I say, not sure about it. So I get both sides of the story.
But at the same time, Chris, I'm sure the people who've been onto the site can offer massive plaudits to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think nearly every big find over the past 10 years, most finds they've either been a past subscriber or they're an existing subscriber, and that really has been my aim. Because when I first started out, basically I built up the website because I wanted to find stuff. I was going around finding nothing with this metal detector, and I realised that if I knew where sites were on whereabouts, then that may be where I can find things. So I started building the site, and then it went from there. But then I realised also I'm getting data from all over the country. I'm never going to go to somewhere, I don't know. I'm never going to go. Well, actually, I do travel quite a bit, but maybe Wales, somewhere in Wales. I'm never going to go to a field in Wales that I know was potential for a Bronze Age hoard. It's never going to go there. So I might as well just put it online and hopefully someone else will find it.
Yeah.
And then create a story out of it.
Now, going back a bit, Chris, because I haven't asked you this yet. We always ask the guest to briefly introduce themselves. Could you briefly introduce yourself and also briefly introduce Archi for people who don't know about it?
Yeah, so it's Chris Kutler, Kutler, by the way. That's and the websites. I started off doing first degree was in biology, but my first detector was in the 70s. I tried to make a detector after reading all the stories in the magazine about people finding treasure, and it's always been in the back of my mind about detecting. And then I moved on to working for the National Archives for 18 years, and as I worked there, I got really into history, and I just thought I'd build this website mainly so I could actually find things, and it basically went from there. So what this site does is that if you type in any place, a coordinate, a password, not a password, a postcode, or a place name, and it will give you the archaeology of what has been found in that area. It will give you a distribution map. That's the main thing that you're looking for. And that distribution map will basically tell you where they are. Archaeology is probably not the best word, where the history is more likely to be. So a good example for me, before I started using the site, I got some permission up in near Braintree, and I was walking towards Great Dunmow for 5 years along the Roman road, but I was walking on the wrong side of the road. On the left-hand side of the road, there was nothing. On the right-hand side, as I found out later when I searched me on my own database, that's where all the Roman history was and that kind of thing. So it's basically to see where everything is, to get an idea of a historical landscape, but also to give you an idea of where you might find where you're going to find something. That's basically what it's about. But it's expanded now from being that to being a mapping website. So, for example, last year I was reading Treasure Hunting magazine, and somebody wrote an article about a hoard they found, and they use the phrase, "Oh, I used Archi maps," and I thought, "Well, what's Archi maps?" And then realised that was my site. that was the first time that I knew that my site was being called Maps, Archie Maps. So, so then I thought, well, people are associating with maps. I'll put some more maps on there, and I'm interested in maps anyway. So it's because since I've put the maps on, I've now attracted a lot of interest from people who are into family history. They want to see what their house looked in the context of the historical landscape. They'll do a search, they'll find the map, and then they'll see a list of all the archaeology, and they go, what's this? And didn't know there was a Roman site just 100 yards down the road, and then it would engage people in archaeology. So that's one of the functions as well. One, obviously, to help people make the kind of finds that I've found, but also to help people engage in their history, which to me is really important. That people have got a means of engaging and understanding the past.
Have you seen? Sorry. Have you seen any? I see on your site, Chris. You had an annual subscription originally, and you've now gone to a monthly subscription basis. Have you seen more people signing up since lockdown? Because obviously we can't go out to tech.
Well, basically, since lockdown, it dropped for the first couple of months. I mean, people like me, everyone just panicked, and it just dropped. And then it picked up quite significantly because people were just getting bored, I think. And I've always wanted to introduce a monthly subscription because I know some people, monthly is a bit easier for them to manage. But believe it or not, the technical overhead of running a monthly subscription is a lot more than a yearly subscription. But I'm now in the position that I could actually hire somebody to deal with that side of things to enable the extra work from doing a monthly subscription. So yeah, more people are subscribing monthly, definitely, which is what I wanted anyway. Just for people to engage with it and to find out about their history without making that massive commitment. Well, that commitment of a full year's subscription.
Right.
It's risen quite a lot, but it's difficult to say whether it's a monthly subscription because there's been an increase since about September, big increase, because people they got locked down again in October and they're just going crazy, I think. So they're just thinking, well, I need to do something, and it's a quite kind of site where I actually find it addictive. When I start looking, I'll do a bit of research for an article, and I'll be looking through it, and I'll see a crop mark. I think, what's on this crop mark, and I'll start looking at the old maps, and I get addicted to it as well. So I can see why there's been an increase through lockdown because people need to use this time, and if they use it constructively, I think it's a really good thing for people.
Yeah. And I'm right in saying that there's potential people can go on there tonight for a little.
Yeah. I set up a password. I think I've actually forgot. I think it is. I think I could check in a second. But
I think it's the big. Oh God! Could Luke put it on the screen? Has Luke got it, Dave?
I can. Where was our conversation? I'll send it to him. I'll find it and I'll send it to him.
Big MD. What's it?
Detecting show.
No, it's a Big MD show. So it's BIG MD show, no space. Then they can type that password in there from now and for an hour after this show, and then they can just get an idea of what's they can see the distribution maps, which is mainly what people want to know about. If you don't subscribe, you can still get a list of the sites normally, and you can see what's in your area. Once you subscribe, you get the coordinates, you get the maps, you get the GPS locations, all that kind of thing. But for tonight, until an hour after the show, then you don't need to be a subscriber. Or if you use that password, and that password will be active for for another hour or so.
That's marvelous. Thank you, Chris. And on behalf of the viewers as well, thank you. I'm sure you'll be a bit of a spike in viewers this evening.
I spent early December having to rewrite the search engine for the maps because of the big increase, because it kept them crashing. That's one of the things I spend a lot of time on. Right, is doing that kind of thing. So hopefully people still use it, but I'm slightly concerned about a crash, but if it's a crash, it's a good sign. I'll just give maybe it's extend it a bit longer. We'll see. Hopefully my coding has improved in 20 years, so it'll run a lot faster. It will handle the traffic.
Brilliant.
Someone irrelevant to the conversation tonight. Somebody said, "Why isn't your cutlery tray holder in a drawer behind you?" But I think people need to realise you're on a boat, and it's not your boat; it's your next door neighbour's boat.
And he also says, "Are you a man or a maverick?"
I'm also in a wobbly chair because that's why I'm wobbling around.
Yes, we've been pre-warned he might fall in the water tonight if he leans backwards too much.
Yeah, so, I don't actually, it's a good point. I don't actually know what's behind me there. Yeah, there's some good. I don't know why it's in there. Maybe I'll move it. It's not my boat.
My personal main question has got to be: have they left you any cake?
Have they what?
Left you any cake?
No, they're actually stuck in New Zealand at the moment. So there's nothing. I might leave them some cake. I might bake them a cake when they get back.
I love cake. Anyway, Chris, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share the screen like I did earlier when we were starting the show, just to have a look at. Obviously, you can talk through. I'll start with the maps, and we'll go through the things later on. The maps that you sent me over, and we'll have a good look at them, and you can describe exactly, what, and in relevance to the website.
Well, this is. It's not really relevant to the website, but it's relevant to one of the reasons why.
Right.
And why I like metal and why I believe in metal detecting, because there's people, obviously we all know as detectorists, people who don't really think it's a good thing. But about 17 years ago and also 3 years ago, I found some Saxon coins, and one of them was a pretty nice coin, and not a lot was known about the Angles, the people who gave England its name. So, since I found the coins, it's stimulated me to do a lot of research in that area, and to possibly redefine our understanding of where the English people came from. So, the reason why I've sent you that because it's for me it's a good example of why detecting is so important, and how a single find can rewrite history. And I'm not trying to say I can rewrite history tonight, but the reason why I sent those pictures is because the coins that I found,
right,
have kind of sent me down a journey of learning and understanding to the point where you're going beyond that. And a lot of detectorists do that from the conversations over the years with detectorists. They're the experts in the field, yet they get disregarded as just being detectorists. Yet an expert in a particular area. It's one of the beauties of detecting. So I've shown you those maps. So that one there was one there of where the angles came from. Is it there still?
Yeah. Should be.
No, it's disappeared.
It's not. Right, yeah.
Well, if you show the coin first, the one, the Whitman, called Whitman.
Right, let me just find that. Whitman. And that's it. That'll be in the coin files, won't it?
Yeah, not Whip Man. That's a different thing. I saw that.
I've found that. Right, Luke. In fact, what we'll do, we've only got 10 minutes or so before we have to go for to split off for the draw. What we'll do in the meantime, if Luke can bring up the website, he can actually log in. So we can see visually what's going on. And you can give us a brief description of what's what on the website. Okay,
that's good. Thank you. Right, so what we've got there. So there's four main searches here. You got. I was going to try and point to it, but I can't point to it. You can find British archaeological sites. That's mainly used by people in England, obviously. To find old maps is to enable people to use the search engines to find old maps of their area. So that's what I was talking about before about people who are not detectorists, they're not into metal detecting, but they're interested in local history. So they use that on there. Find Worldwide Sites is a pet project I've been running for years. So on this website, you can actually find sites from all over nearly every country in the world. It's nowhere near as comprehensive as the British sites, but if, say, for example, you're Poland, the main sites, you can type in Poland, you can find the main sites. If you type in Egypt, you'll see there's like 50 pyramids, not just 3 pyramids, all along the Nile, and it visualizes that. But my favorite one is the moment is the Find Ancient Place Names. That's a new one, which is to help people understand how they can interpret the names of places that they live and give them clues to the history of their area. And you don't need to be a subscriber for that. It will just, if you type in an archaeologically significant place name, for example, Brough, if you type in the one up at the top, let's just type in, trying to think of a good one. The one I've been using at the moment is Chipping, Chipping, and search. Did you click search?
Click search again, Luke.
Computer says no.
Well, maybe
I'm pressing it here.
Yeah, I just need to move my mouse.
Well, leave that one because we've only got a short amount of time. But that's basically it's quite the reason why I developed this was to help with younger people understand ancient history, because it's on this particular search. The information is part of the key stage 2 and 3 of the national curriculum. So with lockdown and people haven't got access to schools and education, so I'm going to try and kind of not promote, it's not the right word, but promote that to schools so they can use that as a way to teach certain aspects of the national curriculum. That's for that one. But if we go back to the main page again, we can go, if we've got time, to do a main search. So if you scroll up to the top, yeah. So quick Archi search. So if you type in, think of a place.
Go on, Luke. I knew you were going to do that.
That one. And just the place name, not the county. And then in the password, stop. Sorry, in the password. So the password, I think we said was big AMDM big BI. Is it big BIG MD?
It is the. Hang on.
Oops. Am I shouting, by the way?
No, you can hear you.
It's Adrian.
It's the Big MD Show.
Right. No spaces yet. Search.
It's just worked on my phone.
I don't know what. Well, I've not touched it, so I don't know what is going on.
It might be Luke's computer with everything else running through it at the same time.
Yeah, I've just done it on my phone, and it's.
I mean, we could possibly come back to it.
Is it case sensitive?
No. I mean, when you click the search button, it should. There's no reason why it shouldn't work.
Press enter, Luke.
Yeah, try enter.
That's one of them brain fart nights again. We have these technical difficulties, Chris. It always happens.
Maybe it has crashed and it's just not letting us know about it.
Oh, it's working on other people's phones anyway.
Right, yeah. Well, I wonder why it's not working.
Is there a pop-up blocker or anything on Luke's?
No, nothing like this. I've tried to keep it as simple as possible and all that kind of stuff. There's no cookies on there or anything like that.
Oh, I like cookies and cake. An apple strudel.
Oh, God.
I'm sure we'll be able to come back to it anyway. So it's everything you could imagine's under there, as well as local finds of consequence in that area. It also points you towards them too.
I mean, it's basically it ranges from basically all the data on there is from published sources. So, if like I know, obviously through detectors, that they may have found a hoard, for example, somewhere in Essex, and I may know the location. But if it's not published in the public domain, then I won't publish it because there's a responsibility to farmers and to the finder. So I don't do that. So it's generally, it is apart from a few things where the farmer and the detectorist. It may not be in the government's databases, but it will be in my database because they've said, well, we want people to know about it. As you know, so for example, things from fines.org is not there. So people say, oh, I found something the other day. Why why isn't it in the database? And I said, well, no one's given me permission to do that. And the farmer hasn't given permission. You haven't given me permission, and who knows what would happen if I put it on there.
Have you got some big companies or
the one I mean, there are building companies subscribe to it because if they're going to do a building, if they're going to have a development in a field, then it's a risk. It's a risk that they will run into archaeology. So they may think, okay, we're going to buy this field and we're going to build some houses here. If they hit a Roman burial or any burial, then it could be really costly for them. So it's like and if they don't know about it, they haven't built it into their budget. So there are people where there are companies who use the database to do a risk assessment on the chances of finding archaeology in that area, and whether if there's a Roman villa next door and the field isn't scheduled, then they're going to have to be careful. And the biggest one is Princeton University subscribed to it, and I'm always really proud that they do because Indiana Jones apparently went to Princeton University, so they subscribe. They like it. There's a couple of other big universities.
Brilliant. I think we might have had the password wrong. So, Luke, I think I said it was the big metal detecting show, and it is just the big. It's just.
No, it's not. It's just big MP show.
MP show.
We're going to share the screen now as well because we'll momentarily have the Diggers Dips draw coming up. So log on. It's Big MD Show, not the Big MD Show. So we've got 3 prizes this week, courtesy of Diggers Dips. The first being tokens and tallies, 1850 to 1950. The second prize is 15 Diggers Dips tokens to participate in their draws on the site. And finally, in third place is a single entry into any of the draws that are currently taking place. So you'll get, obviously, an email to your account via Diggers Dips when it's been drawn. And one little game that we have going, Chris, is Guess the Number. So there's 37 entrants tonight, and we will shortly guess the first number. And inevitably, everybody else has started joining in. And by way of that, we're thinking about doing something else ourselves in the near future, the Guess the Number thing. So 9 seconds to go. It's a nice and easy format. As you'll see, draw starting in 5. It'll choose the number and then announce the winner from the site itself. So, can you see the numbers, Chris?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. What have I got to do?
Nothing. Just guess the number between 1 and 37.
I'll guess a number.
Yeah.
33.
Go on, Adrian.
21.
14. Oh, it's none of us. None of us. 7. 4. Oh. This is the highlight of our week, this. The winner of tokens and tallies 1850 to 1950 is Ben Davis. Well done, Ben. Second number, 19.
10.
Chris? 37.
Should have a drum roll, really, shouldn't we? Oh, it's me or Adrian. Oh. Close. Oh. So that's number 17, Weezufa. You've won 15 Diggers Dips tokens. Adrian, you can go first this time.
It's got to be a high number. 22.
Chris?
Oh, what was it again?
Between 0 and 37.
I was thinking about the website. I was thinking about why is it not working? 19.
32. I cheated a bit there. Just a little.
God, Dave.
Well, the 3 came up before I could. 34. Scotty Too Hotty. That's either Mr. DeBay or Mr. Scotty B. No, I think that'll be Scotty DeBay. No problem, no doubt there. So thank you again to Diggers Dips. Ben Davies, who's won the tokens and tallies group. Weezoofer for the 15 Diggers Dips tokens, and Scotty Too Hotty entry into any draw. And they will be communicated with via Diggers Dips. And thank you as ever to Diggers Dips for organising and sorting out the prizes. Adverts.
Many spend their days passively searching for something interesting to do. Others dig in and find it. While nothing is certain, anything is possible. And the anticipation leads you into action. Because it's here that adventures begin. Stories are unearthed. Secrets are revealed. Fortunes are found. Mysteries are solved. And the past is brought to life. Nothing valued is ever lost. It's simply waiting to be discovered. So here's the question. What are you looking for?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to have you all here. Adrian, all fine and dandy. We've got the site running. So, Luke, can we go straight onto the site if that's okay? There we go.
Do we go back to a search, you think?
Chris is back. So, all groovy and we're in now.
But do you want to go back to a search for people that might have just tuned in?
Do you want to go back to a search, Luke?
Yep.
Let's go to Eastbourne. I've never been to Eastbourne.
Oh, it's lovely. Very nice. You need to be really rich to live there, though.
I think I saw Eastbourne in Angus Young, Snogging and Thongs film. I think it was filmed in Eastbourne.
Ooh.
Angus Young.
Angus, Thongs and Snogging. It was my daughter's favourite film years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So what was the password? It was Big what?
Big MD show.
Big MD show. Right.
That's it.
Why did you do that?
I got in on my phone.
But you got it back up a minute ago. So, I mean, I've just tried it. It's working fine. So I don't understand.
No. Anyway, Chris, you found some coins a while back. Did you want to tell us about those? Because it hit national press, didn't it?
Yeah, well, the first one did. The first lot did. No, in fact, the first ones were found. I think it was 99.
Right, yeah.
There you are.
Hey,
Right.
Oh, he's up. He's in.
So this is the search for sites around within, I presume, 10 kilometres of Eastbourne. So what? The first, I suppose, the first thing for if you're not a subscriber, then there is free information, which will be the list of archaeological sites. I'm trying to point at the screen, but down at the bottom, so you can see what the archaeology is in your area. You might, you can use that. And at the top of the page, you'll have links to old maps. If you go to the top of the page, see there on you got the old map of Eastbourne on the right. Three maps along. It's like golden shot. You probably won't remember it. So click on the icon. Right there. Why is it not getting that?
Do you think it might be the amount of people who are currently using this login?
No.
I've just clicked on it and it's come up.
I've just tested it and it's fine. I'm wondering whether
it must be the rich people in Eastbourne haven't got a very good internet, maybe.
Yeah,
no.
I reckon.
I mean, that's a new one on me actually. I mean, this is what I spend a lot of time doing, trying to fix this kind of thing. I mean, what browser are you using?
I think you'd be on Firefox or something.
That is the weirdest thing ever.
Netscape.
No. Well, I could talk you through it.
Yes, pal.
So on the left, you've got these postage stamp kind of maps. The top left on there will be a distribution map of all the finds and archaeological sites and sites of historical interest within 10 kilometres of. What's happening? What's going on?
Right, I'm with you. Right.
Yeah, what's it?
Okay.
Around Eastbourne. The second one would just be a list. The third one is an old map.
No worries, pal.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's just talking to Luke.
All right, mate. Ta-da. Right, the reason it's not working is because StreamYard, who are our provider, aren't allowing it to come through. When you click on something, it opens up in a separate tab. And because it's opened up on a separate tab, StreamYard won't allow Luke to see it. So he can only see one page. So it is working fine and dandy. It's just not working via StreamYard currently. They've had amalgamated with another company, and when everything changed last Friday, we've lost a lot of videos, and there's some other bits and bobs that need doing to them. So we apologise for that, but we can assure you it is working. If you want to go and have a look at archiuk.com, the password currently for the next hour or so is... Sorry?
I'm interrupting you. Carry on. I'm just saying, tell people the password again, right? And they just what they can do, go into the homepage, archiuk.com, do a search in that search box on the top right-hand corner, type in that password, and then if they have any problems or want questions, we can ask them questions, possibly.
There you go.
So, rather than you're there.
He is, but as I say, he can't go anywhere else after this. He'll have to go out and come back in about 5 minutes with other stuff.
If people just use the password, which you've given, and then give it a try, and then if they've got queries about it, then just get back to us, I suppose.
Okay. Right. Luke, I'm going to share my screen now so we can get onto the coins and such like. Because we know where we are then. It should let us anyway. Right, so...
Because they might cancel these coins because they're a bit political.
Which coins are we going to be looking at anyway?
So if we go... I could start by just sort of, would people be interested in the...
We've also got the Caractacus Stator as well. Let's go for the Caractacus Stator, and I've got them out the way. The Quarter King Caractacus. So tell us about this. Is obviously something that you've discovered yourself. Is it?
No, nothing to do with me.
Is it not? Oh.
No, that was, I can't remember his name. He found it near Oxfordshire.
Right.
Was it near with the M4 where they're building the road?
Right.
That is nothing to do with me. I just put that in there as a test.
Right. Sorry, I do apologise. I've obviously not discussed this with you beforehand. So if we go back into coins, are these all yours?
Right. No. The first two are part of a story of the meaning of one of those coins there, and one of those coins there gives a story of the possible identity of the people who were the ancestors of the people who founded England. So, but that one, if you go to, how long have we got? Because this is quite a thing. It is interesting.
We've got half hour.
All right. If you go down to the bottom on the right, there's a gold coin with a warrior-looking type guy. That's him. That one there. So this coin, in fact, yeah. Let's talk about this coin because of the time. This coin for me is, it provides a narrative, a story about of the history of the origins of the English people, and you think, well, how can you get that out of a coin? So when I actually found two Merovingian coins about 20 years ago in the same area, and thank you. And I came across, so I started researching the coins, and I then came across the Whitman coins, and it showed the picture. I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to find that coin with this warrior kind of guy with a trident? And it just reminded me about this was the start of the development of before England was actually a political entity, before England was known as England. And I just really wanted to just find one of those coins and just learn more about it. And then when I found one, it just opened up. It just like really, as you can imagine, just like shocked me because they're really rare. I think about 5 have been found since about 1840. And I just started to wonder about it. So I went to the Ashmolean Museum, and that trident. And my first thoughts was this is a sea warrior. It looks like a warrior, and that was a trident. And so I researched a little bit more about it, and it seemed to be telling me that the trident is a symbol, obviously from Neptune, about that of the sea. But it's also there's been a discussion about the origins of the English people, the Angles, where did they come from, and why are they called Angles? And there's an idea that there's various reasons why they're called angles, but one of the basic things that come from the term angle, from a place called Angelin, which is in Denmark. And so that was a big shock to me. So I thought, well, I thought the English came from a Germanic tribe. You know, we all think, oh, the English are a Germanic tribe. And I don't think that's true now, after finding this coin. Clear that the area where this coin, where the people who were on that coin came from, is in Denmark. So when people talk about the English ethnicity, which is a kind of a disputable thing anyway at the moment, we shouldn't really be talking about the Germanic tribes anymore, because it wasn't a Germanic tribe. They're a Danish tribe, and we well know that the Vikings were Danes. You know, like you had the Dane law. They were called the Danes by the indigenous people at the time. So then I started thinking, oh, a minute, well, maybe these people, these Vikings, had been here 200 years before, but they were called the Angles at the time. So those thoughts are going around in my head. But the significance of the trident is really important, because whether or not it's a trident, because the academics say it's a candelabrum, a candle holder, and I really can't imagine any warrior walking around with a candle holder. The Pritterwell Prince, and I don't mean to criticize the archaeologists who it's not criticism, it's just an observation, that a candelabrum similar to that was found in the Pritterwell Prince's burial, and he's a high status burial dating from about 570, before Christianity came to England. He was buried with a candelabrum, and I thought, no, that's not a candelabrum he's buried with. He's buried with a trident. And there's a similar kind of standard in the Sutton Hoo ship burial. So the question is, well, what does this trident mean? Why is it so significant? And anybody who does fishing knows it's an angler, and there is a tradition of people using tridents to fish with. So I thought it's a fisherman's symbol. This is a symbol saying that this person is descended from a tribe of, and it sounds like this might sound crazy, like David Icke stuff, but I actually think some things said are okay. Well, descending from a fisherman culture that became tribal and warrior-like, and it fits in with the whole thing about Vikings and being able to go on boats and that kind of thing. So, but then how can you prove it? You know, who am I to say that this is a trident and it's a symbol of a particular culture that has disappeared for whatever reason? So if you go, so the question is it a trident? Is it a candelabrum? And does it signify a fisherman culture? An ancient tribe that were basically based by the sea. And if you look at the geography of where the Angles are supposed to come from the classical writers like Tacitus, and you've got some of the early medieval writers who their accuracy is a bit debatable, but they do talk about that the Angles came from an area called Schleswig-Holstein, which is now the border of Denmark and northern Germany. So I'm sort of going in little circles a little bit. So I'm trying to explain that this trident symbol is a symbol of the Angles, i.e. angling. But how can I prove it? Well, if you go to the first coin, which is the first coin you pulled up, which is a picture of the Chi-Rho symbol, the black and white one.
That one?
I can't see anything.
Are we there or not? Where are we?
There's
oh, we've got fully black. Oh, there we are. Let's try again.
Look.
Are we there?
Ah, lovely. Right, right. You probably can't see, but right in the, so I've reorientated that sign, right, because that is the Chi-Rho symbol for Christ. Yeah, on a coin found in the from the same period. And if you look at the trident there, that is almost identical to the trident on the Whitman coins. Uh-huh. Yeah. If you look, so it's been reorientated. So there you've got a symbol of Chi-Rho made up of a trident. You've also got the crucifix, which is the one running from the southeast. That's the one. That's the crucifix. And the one in the middle, the other one, That to me is a shepherd's hook. I can't remember the name, right? So it's a chiral symbol made out of three symbols that to symbolize Christ. So, if you look at the historical iconography of Jesus Christ and the iconography of Christianity, Jesus is always associated with a fisherman. Hence, that's why the trident is there as part of that chiral symbol. He's also associated, and this might sound like I'm preaching about Christianity. I'm not. I'm just trying to explain the iconography on this coin. Then you've got the shepherd, Jesus the shepherd, and then you've got the crucifix. So that says to me is quite a lot of evidence to say that symbol on the coin that I found is a trident. It's a symbol of the sea. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's quite important because that starts to say, well, why was that symbol on the coin? What is it saying? That's one of the contemporary coins of Christendom, and that is a trident. That's not a candelabrum, and it's a chiral symbol. I mean, it's the first two symbols of the Greek alphabet, I think, to mean Christos. You got the cross in the middle is the X, is Christ, and I think the shepherd's hook is the R, and it should be orientated about minus 48 degrees, and then that's the way it should be normally on the chiral symbol. So
I'm with you.
That's not, and I've looked at this coin forever, and there's some really no one has actually said that this is a chiral symbol, probably because no one's actually probably looked at it properly. So this is the evidence that I want to say that is the symbol of a trident, which is a symbol of the fisherman, and that you have a symbol of the fisherman on this coin, which says that these people were from the sea, which is telling you that the person on the coin is a sea warrior. And where did he come from? He came from angling, the place where the anglers are. Yeah. So it's like evidence which holds with this shaky idea, which gives it more evidence that the people who gave the name England was taken from those people, and it means basically the land of fishermen. You know, which is quite interesting with Brexit because that seems to be one of the debates at the moment is the fishing waters.
Yeah,
not going to get into that area. No. So that's basically been my. So I've gone from finding the coin to finding evidence. One to sort of contradict the general idea that warriors are buried with candlestick holders, which I just don't believe.
Wrong bird. Wrong one.
More likely to be a trident, isn't it? It's a weapon. There's maps in there, but it's to explain about the significance of Schleswig-Holstein, which is the area where the Angles may have come from, because that's and why the English are supposed to be generally associated with being a Germanic tribe, but they're not a Germanic tribe. They're an Anglo tribe or a Danish. They're actually Danish, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. That's what is the idea about one single metal detecting find can lead to an interpretation that has not yet been put forward to the explanation of the puzzle of our ancient history.
Ah, very interesting.
Remember? You still there?
Above all this, Chris, at the end of the day, not only do you do your website, but you are a metal detectorist.
Oh, yeah.
And you've been detecting for what? Well,
first, what I tried to make one in 1976.
Right.
And then I bought one. First one was 1995. That was from a couple of years on that, and I didn't really. I found absolutely nothing. Didn't find anything with it for 2 years. But I've been detecting 25 years. So,
out of interest, the article that was published by the Daily Mail and I think I think it's the Telegraph or something, with the gold coins you found in Essex, we've got pictures of, Dave, I think. What machine, out of interest, were you using then, and what are you using now?
The first coins were found with a laser B3.
Right.
B3, which is I used to have a really powerful detector when I first started, and I couldn't deal with the chatter, so it was a laser, and it didn't have a lot of depth. But one of my approaches is to find an area that is probably going to be productive, but out in the countryside, away so it's less likely to be contaminated with modern stuff. So if you do get a signal, and it's also because it's less likely to be contaminated. The subsequent coins were found with an XP Gold Max. XP Gold Max, I think it was, power. I did obviously go over that area with the B3 and another detector, and the XP. Once I got used to the chatter and the noise, because it did still pick up iron, because I'm a bit impatient. Iron kind of gets in the way. Then, yeah, it came up, and I've never stopped using that detector. I use it all the time now, that detector. Whereas I've actually got three detectors at the moment. I've actually got 4 detectors, but I just stick to that XP now. I'm thinking about upgrading to something else, but I don't know what yet. Because once you've got a machine that you like, and stick with it.
Yeah,
that's one of the biggest mistakes I've made. I was fully understanding of the Xterra 705. I enjoyed using it. I found things with it, and then decided to swap it, and I've continued to upgrade and downgrade ever since, but still never the same.
Yeah. I mean, I get out. I wish I could get out more. I really, really wish. There's so many. I mean, when I create a website, when I've got new data, I'll see a site, and then I'll look at the aerophotography, and I'll see a site there, and I'll use that as part of the sort of well, there's things here. Obviously, I'll check if it's a scheduled site, and if it's a scheduled site, then it doesn't go on. Well, it does go on, but it doesn't go on any of my marketing material for obvious reasons. But I see a lot, and there's a hell of a lot of stuff that is undiscovered. A hell of a lot of stuff.
When you say that, Chris, obviously, when you say that, you've got a lot of knowledge on maps and locations. I mean, you've got 200,000 historical archaeological sites from what on your website. So if you were to say an area that is least undiscovered in the UK, where would you roughly think it would be?
Well, it's difficult to say because I need to do some analysis on that one, but
I'm not saying it because everyone will head down there to South or somewhere because they won't.
I think there's things that they're not. I mean, ironically, I'm in the south at the moment. I'm in London, and I know a lot of northern detectorists would love to be down south because you can go out, you can find a hammer, that day. You know, it's not a problem if you know the right area. Whereas up north, it's really difficult. But up north, there's a lot of undiscovered Roman sites up there, especially I think from the Humber. So where I think it's Goole. You know Goole. I'm not saying go to Goole, but Goole is the most. I think it's the furthest inland place in England. So anybody who wants to move goods in and out of the UK, like in ancient times and modern times, because Goole was a port, then they would have gone to Goole because a lot of transport was by the water. So I think waterways and the water routes are underutilized indicators. If you follow a water line, you'll find like fords on rivers, and you can see the fords on the old maps. They are probably like that.
Yeah, no, that's
but I always say like those coins that I found in Essex. I mean, I found 2 in 1999. I searched for 6 years every year solidly and found nothing. And then 15 years later, I searched exactly the same field and I found those two. I found two beautiful gold coins 15 years later. So although a lot of areas have been searched, things move around and ground gets ploughed up and something that's not somebody may do a whole area, and then for example someone put an interesting story about those coins that I found is that it had been done quite a lot by detectorists previously, so I heard, but the council had put a pipeline in maybe about 5 or 6 years before I got there. They put a pipeline in that field, and that pipeline had brought up those coins because they dug deep. And because I was with the farmer, and we dug down, and I said, "What's this?" He goes, "Oh, it's the old pipe." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Because that's the old pipe that they dug up." And I thought, well, that's obviously that deep digging has brought those coins up. So when you say where's the most underutilized, I'm sort of a believer that you can still find things on the areas that you've gone over quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm a strong believer in that. I mean, you probably don't know, but I field test metal detectors for Treasure Hunting magazine. So I have a standard field permission, and I'll go on with probably 5 years ago not 5 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, went on with the Equinox 800, found loads of stuff, thought, oh, this is fantastic. And yet since then, I've been on with different machines from different manufacturers and had some really good finds. And yeah, enough, the ground turns over. And funnily enough, the farmer did put a pipe in, a utilities pipe, which dug down about 4 or 5 foot and lifted the soil up. And off the back of that, I found a load of Romans. So yeah, and I know, for example, the hoard that was found in Essex not too far the other month, 1,300 staters. The guy had been connecting in the same field for 7 years, and he'd found a few bits, but yet just that day walking that little bit of land, he got the right and found it. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. You just got to keep trying and be persistent.
I think the rivers. I'm going to put on the. I've got them. Most of the maps now. They from Christopher Saxton, done in the 16th century, and they were commissioned by Queen Elizabeth to so they could get an idea of where the vulnerable points are in case of attack by the Spanish. So you've got all these rivers, and they exaggerate the rivers. So you just look at the map and you can see where the rivers are. So at the time it's for a specific purpose, but for a detectorist, if you look at that map, you can see straight away where the ancients would have lived along those rivers, because they would have come up the rivers, like the Vikings and the boats, and Angles and the Saxons, if that's the case, if it was a case of them coming over. And people had to live near rivers, so I think anywhere where there's obviously a river and there's south facing, obviously it's a good thing. You're going to find something, and the quality of the soil. So
well, it's funny you should say that, because you were talking about you used to detect in Essex near Braintree. My permissions is right near that road you're talking about.
What is that for?
One of my permissions is right near that road you're talking about, the Roman road. And I've done some research, and the Thames actually, in 400 or 500 years ago, it was drying up, but it ran up into Chelmsford in Essex, part of it. And it's since dried up and got built back. But from historical maps, that was used as a route for transport for ships from London. So yeah, it's interesting when you look into the historical side of things.
You still got me thinking about where the best place. You've got me. You're setting my mind off now. I suppose. I mean, what I would do in that situation is I would use that place name finder that I've got on the website and type in the names of archaeologically significant place names. For example, Brough or Broughing or Borough, that kind of thing, or Castle. Look at the distribution map, and then maybe go somewhere, and then cross-reference that with the search of Archi, and if it's not from the website, if there's not a lot of archaeology around there, but you've got an archaeologically significant place name, then it means the archaeologists haven't found it, or no detectives have been around there. So it's difficult to say, because I know I know of farms called Castle Farm in the middle of nowhere, or things like Chipping Farm or Romans in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't think they are, but they are. Yeah. They are out there. What I'm trying to say, and but they're not the kind of places you would look because the migration to towns and cities, towns started to happen, like fell apart after the Romans, and then started to happen again in the 8th, 9th century. So there's a period when people were scattered all over the place. It was only in the 14th century that people started moving to towns. Most of the population lived out in the countryside. So that's why I'd look at place names.
Just Dave, you all right if I ask some questions from the chat?
Yeah, crack on. Firstly, let me just say hello to Francis Wright, all the way from Melbourne in Australia. Welcome to the show.
Oh, if it's near New Zealand, I was going to do a database for New Zealand.
Really?
Because my wife's from New Zealand, so when I was over there, there's interest in metal detecting there, and there's probably a lot of stuff to be found. Probably like where people have been finding gold and maybe hidden it and lost it and that kind of thing. But it's obviously it's not ancient like in terms of metal culture. Anyway, yes, hello from Australia.
Got a question from Marius, Chris. The app on the app from, I presume it's Android and iOS, is it, for your maps website?
It was. I had to discontinue the app because the app was only ever when it was first released was only ever released as a test, as a beta test, because there's only me running everything. I'm trying to do everything, and then Android. Yeah, so I've sort of stopped the app, and I'm waiting for the web technology to catch up with mobile phone technology. It shouldn't be too long, and then I'll be able to integrate them both. Because the problem with the Android apps, and they're always changing the operating system, and same with iOS. And for one person, it's almost impossible. It's impossible to keep up with it.
Okay.
And,
So, but would it have all the features of the main website in the future?
I like using the app when I'm out in the countryside, because it's in your pocket. It's in your pocket. But like I said, I had to discontinue it because Android did a couple of updates, which would have meant a complete rewrite, and then that was going to happen every 2 years. Mm-hmm. So I need to. I personally, I paid a contractor to do the app, and then they disappear, and then you can't get it fixed. So once I get the time to rewrite it, then and I know how to recode it in case Android changes their operating system, then I'll release it again. But only because I think
we need to put you in touch with Scott at Detector Network. Do you agree, Dave?
Certainly do.
Yeah, he's a very clever wizard, man.
Yeah, I mean I'd have to look at the code. You have to do. Yeah, why not?
I'll pass you on to him. He's done the app for the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine. And also,
what's that, Adrian?
Look, I've run out. He's done the app for the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, available on iOS and Android.
Oh, can I just say one thing, sir?
Yeah.
The app does actually work. It's just it does work, but there's a couple of fixes which you need to do, a couple of workarounds, and I've posted on Facebook on the Archie Facebook page how to do that. And one was the local search. You can type in the coordinates, which you can get from another app, and it should work perfectly. But the problem is when people come to use, because of the upgrade with Android, that functionality was broken was incompatible. But there are ways around it, so the app does actually work. So if anyone's got the app and they're saying it's not working, just email me and I'll look at it, and then I'll say that can't be fixed, or I'll say this is how you can get it working. Because I use the app, I use it. The other month I was out in the field, and I had the app and I use it because I know how to work around it. Right. But I don't know how to get into the code to make it work for everybody. If you know what I mean, there are workarounds.
Also, can you have if we sign up to Archie UK, can you have multiple logins from the same account? So could, for example, my housing manager, my wife, log in whilst I'm out detecting.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Yeah, I mean, the whole system, like any system, it will monitor. You've got to monitor for abuse because people do. You know, remember just me. Some people think it's Google Corporation who can afford this kind of thing. But yeah, so I expect that 1, 2, or 3 people will use the app together. A couple of mates, one of them has bought it. A couple of them will go out and detect, and that's not a problem for me because I expect people to do that. But there's got to be in any app or anything which involves data or a service. The software will just check to make sure that there's not someone, for example, scraping the website and then using it. Which has happened. It's happened 3 times now. People have scraped the website and have created their own product. So there's got to be checks for that kind of thing.
Okay, that's.
But it won't come to my attention because the server will tell me if someone's done. If there's like 50 different users on there, then the servers will email me and say there's 50 different users on there, and then I wish I had them in the past. I've emailed them and said, "Is this you?" And they said, "Yeah, I just move around a lot." I said, "Oh, fine, okay, carry on." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's fine. And also, Philip has posted a comment. The Staffordshire Horde isn't on your site on the maps. Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, for that reason, the coordinates haven't been published of that horde in the public domain. So, and I've obviously got a duty to if it's published in an archaeological journal or whatever, or on the internet somewhere or anything like that, then basically it's in the public domain, and I'm able to do it. But if it's not been, if the exact coordinate has not been published, then I don't really have the authority to put that, because there's a you need to, the farmer may not be very happy about it, and a lot of people won't be happy about it. But sorry?
Philip's actually put the coordinates in the chat, so I don't know how that with that, but he's put the coordinates in the chat. So I don't.
And I've just gone on Google to see where it is and know exactly where it is.
Well, that was a fascinating one, the Staffordshire Horde, because that's a good example where that used to be a club. That was a club field. This is what I heard. Someone told me it used to be in a club there. I was in a club. That was a club field, and no one found anything. And then they all left it. They found a bit, moved on, and then they found the horde on there. So that's a good example of a site that seems quiet and there's something underneath. I think they've done a 3-foot plough that year or something. Right. Yeah, so I've just got to be really careful with obviously really prominent sites, because it's a responsibility. I have to be responsible to ensure that the farmer's got a protection, especially for famous sites that people are more likely to go and sort of ask go and see the farmer and bang on his door, and he may not like it and then come to me. It's that kind of thing. I've got to be responsible in what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, is there anything else that you want to give mention to before we depart? Obviously, any other details regarding Archi UK? I know you've got a Facebook page with an abundance of followers as well.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Right, yeah, just want to say that if there's people watching it and if they have a glitch of it or anything like that, then it's always been developed. There's always, like for example, there's 2,000 villas on there that are only accurate to 4 coordinates. And I've got a project now, which I've been doing for years, to find out the exact coordinates of those, because they've been published. They've been published, you see, in the public domain. So they're going to go on next month. So, and there's reams and reams of data. I've got a new field names. I've put field names on periodically. The Saxton maps that show the rivers, and to give you an idea of where people may have settled in the past, where you may not expect them to have settled. And I'm always developing the website with new features. That's it, really. if people do have problems, just email me, and especially a new user, if they think I don't how this works, it doesn't work on this. It's good for me to know. It's good for me to know because I will look at it, and if I can't fix it, I'll say I can't fix it, which is probably unlikely. It's just there'll be something that I've overlooked. It might be a problem with the data, so just let me know. Because the 200,000 sites, I've read a lot of the descriptions and I've looked at a lot of the coordinates, but I've not looked at all of them. So there could be something funny in there that I don't know about. So it's always good to contact me if there's if there's an issue that people don't think is quite right.
Okay, thanks, Chris. There's a lot of people saying in the chat how they've used your website already, but I think it's good that anyone who isn't aware of it and new to the hobby can access it. I think when I've originally contacted you, you researched me and found that I'd subscribed a while back. To renew my subscription, but all my detecting friends are subscribed, and we sit there looking at the maps and printing them out. So it's especially this time where we can't get out detecting. It's a nice resource for us. So thanks.
Now is the perfect time, and I've got a few. I'll be updating every month as well because I've actually got a bit of help now. So I've got some more help. So I'll be updating every month, hopefully from this year. So there'll be a lot more data updates. So you may do a search once. I think that's it. But always have a look the following month, and it will say updated this month or whatever. It's just so people, because it's always new sites are being found. I find a new site, the photography it changes. So just because you do a search one particular time doesn't mean in 6 months' time there's not a new area to be looked at. And there's loads of other resources that I want to add as well.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Thanks for that. I hope your neighbour doesn't mind you being on his boat, which I think the reason you're on his boat is because you've got a young child, and on your boat you'll wake it up. Is that right?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, her up. Yeah, she's only one. Yeah. Well, I've got 20-year-old twin boys. Hopefully, one of them finishes his maths degree this year, and I'm trying to get him on board to do the LiDAR. Because I've been talking about LiDAR for years, but there's a problem. There's a problem with the images being too big. The images. If he can help, and my other son's also a computer programmer, they finish this year as well. So hopefully things will be even better.
Do they metal detect?
One of my sons went out with me up in Lincolnshire a while back. Yeah, he was a bit gutted that he was happy to find anything. It was his first couple of times. I took them out when they were like 4 or 5 years old and put them off sitting around in a cold winter's days. Never came out with me again.
Oh God! At least yours come out with you. Mine aren't interested. They just take the mickey out of me. So but that's probably just me as it is. So
no comment.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I've got to apologise to you, Chris. Obviously, we've had some struggles at our end this evening with the showing the website. We didn't realise what was wrong until obviously sussed it out. So apologies for that and for the people watching as well. Obviously, when we'll ask you to come back on in the future if you want to. We can obviously talk about things a little bit more in depth and get it sorted so we can actually see what's going on the website. It might actually be easier next time around, instead of Luke doing it via the StreamYard server itself. If I show it from my end, we might be able to see what I'm showing on screen as opposed to Luke uploading everything. So that might be the idea for next time.
Yeah.
Chris, it's been great to speak to you. Obviously, I'd like to get to know you a little bit better, not in that way, off air, learn more a bit about Archie and what have you, and see if there's anything we can ourselves offer to assist with in the future. But I've learned a lot tonight. The whole concept of the trident and the coin and the angles and what have you, fantastic concept. Really enjoyed listening to that and learning about it.
That'll be on the. I've got the article coming out about the second the coins I found in 2017 is coming out in Treasure Hunting magazine. I think next month or the month after. And that's how I found the content of me feeling. The third article will be about the interpretation, about what they actually mean, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people who are not detectorists are sort of saying, who are against detecting, don't really appreciate the kind of passion people have for what we find and how much they can. They're almost like ambassadors for world history, detectorists. They're ambassadors for it. So that'll be the third article. Will be about the angles and what I found and that kind of thing.
Fantastic. So again, for people who aren't aware, it's archiuk.com.
Yeah.
And if somebody's asked about the app, if it's our app you're on about, if you look in Google or the App Store, it's the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, both on Android and Apple now. I can tell you for a fact that it looks like Detector Networks will be available via the App Store this week, the iOS app. So looking forward to that. Francis Wright, she says, I have an all-women's Facebook group. Can you put some FB pages or sites up so I can follow, please? If you look for... Which way am I going? There you are. If you look for the Big Detecting Show on Facebook or the Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine, you'll be able to find our 2 pages, one for each, and the Facebook page, which is all the link. It's basically a news feed for the magazine on Facebook pages. And if you look for, is it Archie UK as well on Facebook, Chris?
Yeah, it's if you type in Archie Space UK on Facebook, it will come up with it.
There you go.
And I've got about 5,000 articles to release about finds, because I've been holding them up for the past. I mean, cause I'm actually a collector, hoarder kind of person. So I've got all the data that will be going onto the But if you go to Google and just type in Archie ARCHI space UK, then I think it's number 1 hit. So that's how you find it.
And if you have any spare articles floated about, Chris, we'd be more than happy to publish them ourselves, because I'm loving content at the moment. We're getting lots of content coming through. And there's lots of masses of, from metal detecting to archaeology to cryptozoology to history to locations. We're doing well at the moment. And I'm actually 3 a day scheduled until mid-February. And I've still got a load in the bank to get up as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Chris Kutler from Archie UK. That side there. It's been great having you, Chris.
Thank you very much. It's been great.
Adrian, pleasure as always. Next week we have Julian Evanhart from Treasure Hunting magazine and someone else who I'm not quite sure who it is yet. And they'll be discussing the Underground History Show, which is the new YouTube series, which is coming in the very near future. I'm not sure if is episode 1 out yet, Adrian?
No, not yet. I think Chris Tritchler, who's producing it, sadly has had a lot of issues with COVID, being unable to film certain clips and bits. But it will be very soon, very, very soon, I'm sure.
Fantastic. And anyone else who would like to write an article and have it put through the Archaeology Metal Detecting magazine, we would love to have it. Thanks, obviously, as well to each and every one of you for joining us this evening, apart from the 1 or 2. And thank you especially to Luke Higgins for producing the show tonight. Apologies for the technical issues with StreamYard and the website. Chris, again, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
And we will see you at 8 p.m. next week. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.